Hello StarCraft fans, I am Nyoken and I'm going to be on the desk filling in for Artosis for a couple of these MoonLight Proleague games. We did see in game 1 Scan versus Ruin, and Ruin took that particular game. Now we're going to be going into game 2, which is going to be ZeLoT versus Motive. And for those of you that are unaware of these players, Motive is obviously a top tier Protoss player, and I remember from casting with Scan in ASL, he was actually mentioning to me that Motive, I think, is a fluent English-speaking Korean. He lived in America for quite some time, so if you are a Protoss fan out there and you are looking for Korean level type of play, but with a little bit of English feedback, Motive could be your guy, so definitely check out his stream. Now in the bottom left, we have our Zerg player, it's ZeLoT, and ZeLoT, I would say, maybe 2 to 2.5 years ago, he had his rise to fame. He was a very, very aggressive Zerg player. I remember facing him on the ladder and him just going for a Ling Lurker. And that was a very common move that he liked to do, and it made ladder very hard to deal with. And actually, I played ZeLoT just a couple days ago, and well, let's just say not much has changed. He's still his same old self, being as aggressive as usual. But this is going to be a PVZ, and we are going to see a gateway opener from Motive. Now, if you had asked me whether this was an unusual opener about 6 months ago, I would say no. This is just the typical move from Protoss, but actually, these days we see more often Forge openers. Ever since Mini innovated the very fast cybernetics play, we've actually seen a complete switch where more and more Protoss players are going for the Forge opener. So it is a little bit surprising to see that this is just going to be gateway pressure. Now back on ZeLoT's side of the map, we see that this was an overpool, and he is going to put down his hatchery at his natural. So everything pretty normal from both players so far. We do see that Protoss is going to find Zerg last, so that's kind of a feel bad moment for Motive. And knowing ZeLoT, he's probably going to be able to keep this probe out of his base. I would like to see 2 Lings go out into the low ground, 2 Lings on hold position to make sure there's no intel in the main. We see that there's no gas just yet, but Zerg would be taking it in the next couple seconds if it was going to be typical lair opener. Okay. Those 4 Lings actually do move out, and that means that the probe had potential to get in. Now we see that ZeLoT, wow, he is going to take the 3rd base at the mineral only. And one of the things that I've learned from casting a lot of these games is, you know, this base only has 6 patches, whereas this base has, I think, an additional patch here. So a little bit less econ for ZeLoT, but we'll see how he wants to use it. Now, the Lings did scout Motive's base. He did see that it is just 2 ZeLoTs into the Nexus, I mean. And there is quite the gap. So versus someone like ZeLoT, it could have been dangerous. That a Ling flood could come, and there we go, we do actually see some more Lings, but these are just defensive Lings for now. Still no gas for ZeLoT, so maybe not just defensive Lings. That is an overwhelming amount of Lings actually being pumped out, and there are no drones at the natural, so he's intending to bust this. Now, even with a Sim City, there's a lot of surface area onto this gateway, so that could get knocked down. Motive might be in a bit of trouble here. The Forge seems pretty late. You can see that a battery is coming in, so he knows that ZeLoT is going highly aggressive play with these Lings. ZeLoT does move into position. 4 ZeLoTs, I think, should be able to hold this off. This seems like quite a lot of ZeLoTs comboed with the probes. They should be able to handle even upwards of something like 20 Lings. Cannon coming in. This battery might actually get canceled. Yeah, there it is. It's going to cancel, and I think Motive has already held this. The Lings were just a little bit too slow. Built non-stop ZeLoTs, so that helped them out quite a bit. 5th ZeLoT coming out. That one ZeLoT's getting a little bit low, but I'm not too worried. Now behind this, ZeLoT is going into more macro play. We see that the 4th hatch has come down. Still not any saturation really at his Nat in 3rd base, just a single drone on the 3rd base, but at least he has started droning now. The Lings have really done, I would say, not much. Cybernetics, it's about halfway done. To put into perspective how delayed this cybernetics was, usually cybernetics completes around 4:30, so we're looking at about maybe a 25 to 30 second delay on the tech. But not a big deal, because we see ZeLoT, of course, isn't even mining gas yet. So I wonder how he's going to follow up this opening Is it going to be into spores? Is it just going to be into hydras? Is it going to be lair? That would be a bit shocking since it's going to be obviously much later. Okay, so this is not going to be the typical Corsair opener. This is going to be Stargate. So I guess Motive knows that, hey, you're more likely to go hydras because everything got delayed. I'm just going to blind counter with the Citadel. I like this move. +1 weapon is about 25% done. Now this should still line up at about a 7:30 timing. This is going to complete in about 20 seconds or so. And then I think it's about a minute upgrade for speed. So we're looking at around a 7-minute-ish speed timing. And then if he just delays a little bit to get the +1 weapon, I think this would be a pretty slick timing. I like how he's posturing like he's going to move out. Just goes out of vision of the Overlord, then moves back. It forces ZeLoT to react. You can see he is reacting. He's even building more Lings because he knows the threat of just rallied single ZeLoT out of the gateway. I mean, when you already have 7 of them, can deal a lot of damage. Now, as expected, there's the Hydra Den. So this Citadel play is going to be perfect. Fast Templar Archive too. Now this could be for Storm, but I actually think this is just to get out a single DT. Now interesting, we see a Goon get popped out. Now a lot of players don't do this. The first person that comes to mind when I see this single Goon is actually Oyachi. He loves to make this type of move. But this time around, not able to catch the Goon, or not able to catch the Overlord. Now this is a lot of Lings. If ZeLoT has a good drone count, which actually looks like he does, he has 8 at the natural, he has 6 at the third base, and 9 in the main, so he's got good econ, and with a lot of Lings already built, he's going to have a lot of buffer for the Hydras, where they're not going to be able to be pounced upon by the ZeLoTs. So this is going to be a lot of units coming at Motive pretty soon, but 4 gate already done. So this is actually going to be a lot of units coming at ZeLoT too. So he's going to have to be a bit careful with his unit control. And remember, +1's about to complete. Remember, I was talking about the 7:30 timing, and we are approaching that moment. And generally at 7:30, something around 7 to 9 ZeLoTs are out. But with 4 gate done, this could be upwards of like 12 ZeLoTs. Both players are getting out on the map. Both players realize that they've got a power spike right now, but I like Motive's power spike a little bit more. I also love his worker count sitting at 44. You know, I often talk about how probe count is crucial. You don't want to overbuild probes, you don't want to underbuild probes, and 45 tends to be the sweet spot at around this moment in the game. Now ZeLoT moving into position. You're going to engage on top of the ZeLoTs, but these ZeLoTs have hit +1, but like I said, Lings are going to buffer a lot of the damage. There's a lot of Hydras in the back. And how many cannons are there? There's only 2. Yeah, Motive realizes that, hey, this is a lot of Hydras. I've got to scramble and get some defense up. There's that single DT I was talking about. But ZeLoT hid an Overlord over here, and now these Hydras can actually deal with the DT. It's playing with fire, just barely out of range of the Overlord. Ooh, the DT goes, snipes a Hydra and runs away. Now, is there Storm available? Let's see. It's not upgrading. I'm going to assume that he already has it done. Yeah, that's a beautiful Storm. Hits a lot of the Hydras here, but there's still so many behind it. That's another great Storm. He's got 2 more Storms available. Another good Storm on the backside. And this attack is not going to work, but it does force out a ton of cannons from Motive, going upwards of 7. Hydras are in range of that Forge. You know Motive does not want to lose his Forge right here. Definitely does not want to lose +1 armor. And back in the main of ZeLoT, we do see that the lair's coming down. Let's see. Wow, this is actually... Okay, it is 5 hatch production. I thought it was 6 hatch for a second. I don't see an evolution chamber anywhere, so it's crucial that he knocks down this Forge, and he is. So at least he's only going to be down 1 upgrade in the +1 weapon for Protoss, but he's not going to be down that crucial armor upgrade. 6 hatch coming up at bottom middle. And that's going to allow him, obviously, the 3rd gas, but not really a key thing in PvZ, at least at this stage of the game. Now, behind this, Gateway Flood coming in for Motive here. Still no range on his Cybernetics. Oh, he's going into double Forge. I don't see... Okay, there we go. There's the Robo. So, Robo started, which means that Cybernetics is going to start spinning pretty soon. Yep, there it is. And we're going to see a round of Goons come out. And that is when Protoss gets dangerously scary. He's already built up the Templar count. He's going to have an overwhelming amount of Goons come out. You know, just 2 cycles is going to put him at about 15 Goons. And he didn't really lose that many Zealots. So this is going to be a very, very strong follow-up punch from Motive. Yeah, Lurker aspect is coming in for Zealot. I think that's key to holding this secondary attack from Motive. So good timing for Zealot. Meanwhile, these Zealots are moving around the backside of the map, and they may go unscouted. Wow, Motive's feeling so confident that he's going to take a third base, and he's going to take it on the high ground of top middle, where it also has access to that third gas. Obviously, gas, way more critical for Protoss. And these Zealots do go unscouted, so it's going to be a backstab from both players. Backstab to oh no, actually Zealot backs off. And there's going to be a small Zealot attack on the left side, which is going to draw the attention over there. And meanwhile, Motive plans to knock down this hatchery at bottom middle. This is going to be fantastic from him. Meanwhile, obviously, building up that goon count. This is going to be the first cycle coming out. And he should have observers coming out pretty soon. See ya, hatchery. That is a big loss for Zealot. Gonna lose the drones too. Now, will he get these units caught? Looks like there's another engagement on the left side, and this small Zealot account is actually going to deal a lot of damage. Meanwhile, I actually think that the Zealots can win this fight over here. There's 12, remember? Oh, great Lurker morph. That's going to mess up the AI, and that's going to force Motive to turn around. Meanwhile, these Zealots on the left side of the map, I would say did decent amount of damage, but now they're going to have to back off. And remember, they don't have +1 armor, so they are taking a lot of damage from these +0 Hydras. But still, a lot of firepower in the reinforcing army from Motive. Tons of Templars, tons of goons already. Double Forge is about to kick in, maybe about 45 seconds more. And Zealot is in a bit of trouble. He's down 20 supply. Remember, he doesn't have that many Lurkers either. And even if this attack doesn't work, third base going up for Motive. However, we've got Hydras on the high ground. Hydras on the right side coming from all angles. Picks off a Templar. Lurkers moving into position. This is why Zealot is so hard to deal with. Look how aggressive he is. Constantly in the face of Motive. Lurkers setting up. Hydras? I don't see any Observer either. Oh my gosh. Motive misses Observer timing. And for now, he's just got to force a fight with Storm just to make sure he doesn't get overwhelmingly contained. How many Storms does Motive have left? 2, 4. Okay, he's actually got a lot. He's got like 6 or 7 left over. But he is in the danger zone of getting overwhelmingly contained. You can see that the Lurker field is not that many, but they are set up in a nice arc. There's the first Observer. Remember, there's Overlords here with speed, so he can pick off this Observer for sure. He's not able to connect, though. Hydras on the left side engaging the goons. +2 did kick in, and +1 armor. +1 weapon kicked in for Zealot too, but the Storms were fantastic. Nullifies all the Hydras, but I only see a single Templar left over, so not a lot of AoE left over. I was trying to check the minimap. Was there a DT anywhere? I don't see a DT anywhere, so I guess he got picked off in the early stages of the game. And look how many goons are left over for Motive. So this is going to be a very powerful army. And remember, he's still on like 8 gate, 9 gate. He's got double forge too. His third base has come up. So this is a fantastic position for Motive. Just now, the fourth base has come up for Zealot. So he's going to be taking that gas. He's going to, obviously pump out a couple more drones to get that running. And that is also his 7th hatchery. So he's got a lot of production too. But this army is so strong with the +2 power spike. And he also has a few Templars mixed in. Just needs Zealots really. And then I think he could overwhelm any... Oh, is this a drop? Wow, we've got a drop coming in. But look how open the third base is for Zealot. He may have to unload this drop defensively. No, he's just going to continue to go for that. Now, this is going to make the game very awkward because we might get into a base trade scenario. But look at the supply. This is almost double the supply for Motive. So I'm loving his position here as long as he just goes. Colonies are almost going to complete, but I think Motive is going to hit right before they do. Look at the drop into the main. Probes are being pulled. Templar popped out, so I think Motive should be able to hold this. Meanwhile, Zealot, I don't see any world where he can hold this. There's not many Sunkens. There's almost no units, really. He's broke, too, so he can't produce anything. All these Hydras that are going to be produced right here are going to fall, and I think Motive is on the brink of taking this game. However, that's actually more Hydras than I was anticipating, and Motive may actually lose his entire main. Oh, Zealot needs to start spamming Sunkens like at his Oh, okay. He's not going to be able to spam it at his 4th base because that's been breached. He's desperately trying to get it up and running at his nat, but he just doesn't have the money, and there's just too much Protoss. So Motive, he hit at a moment of vulnerability, and it looks like he may just be able to barely push through, but this counterattack from ZeLoT was also deadly. But unfortunately for him, Motive still has 2 bases running, and obviously he has all these cannons to defend. Drones have been sent back to the main, and that means ZeLoT is on 1 base mining, and there's no way he can stop this army. So I think this is going to be game 2 headed over to Motive. But what sick play from ZeLoT, unfortunately not able to get up the Sunkens in time. If he was, though, this could have been his game potentially. Like, this army killed all of the main of Motive. Look at this. He doesn't have a single gate. He just built his first gate right now. So that's unfortunate from ZeLoT, but luckily for Motive, he strikes right when ZeLoT is vulnerable, and he's gonna take game 2.